All right, welcome to the vlog. So, I have signed up for a backyard ultra marathon on May 17th. So, I thought I'm going to start a little bit of a vlog series, basically just showcasing how I'm training for this event, basically everything that I'm doing in the lead up to this event. Two reasons that I'm sort of doing this and starting a bit of a vlog. One, I thought it would be cool to sort of share with you guys I guess the process and what it looks like to train for this type of ultra marathon, and I'll sort of talk about what it is in a second because it is a little bit different than usual. So hopefully that can give you guys some ideas. Maybe you'll learn something from it or throughout the process, and maybe it'll motivate and inspire you as well with your own training, and whether that's to do something similar or just your own training in general. It probably doesn't have to be an ultra marathon. But the second reason that I thought I would try and vlog this sort of preparation and over the coming weeks is because it's going to be really useful for me to look back on as well, and then I can see what worked well, maybe what didn't go so well, or what I could have done differently, and then that can hopefully I can use that information again in the future. So it's a little bit selfish in a sense that I'm doing it for myself, but hopefully throughout this journey, you guys can take something away from it too, or at least just get some entertainment out of it. So I think the first question is, or the most common question is what is a backyard ultra event? So the backyard ultra is also known as a last man standing event. Essentially what it is you run a 6.71 kilometer loop, or 4.1 miles, I think it is. And you do this every hour on the hour until there is only one person left. So essentially what you're doing is you're trying to go for as long as possible and as far as possible, which sort of makes the event a little bit different in a sense of, there's no end goal, there's no end distance. You're not running from A to B. You're just running for as long as humanly possible, or as long as, I guess, whatever you can sort of do. It's also weird in a sense that it's semi-time based. So, you're running just under 7 kilometers in an hour, which in itself is actually not very difficult. So you actually will get a lot of rest, but you can't go again and you can't keep going until the next hour starts. So for example, say you start at 12 p.m. on the Friday, which is when it starts, you run your first 7K loop, and then, that might take you 45 minutes. So you only get a 15-minute rest, but you can't start the next loop until that 15-minute rest, all right? And then at 1 p.m. you start the next loop. And you basically just keep going for as long as possible. So I think the record is somewhere around 600 kilometers. I'd have to double check that, which is insane. And obviously that's going for 3, maybe even 4 days straight. But yeah, so the idea is to just try and, challenge myself to go as long as possible. So this week I just wrapped up my biggest training week so far that I've done sort of in the lead up to this. So I've probably only been training for this particular event. Like I've had an idea of it since last year, but I've sort of only started, properly training for it maybe over the last 4 weeks. I've been running, this year, but definitely not heaps, probably only running 3 to 4 times a week, whereas now I'm starting to almost run every single day and definitely upping the volume and the kilometers. Hopefully during the week, I'll be able to take some footage and show you like what my workouts look like, what I'm eating, how I'm doing my recovery and that sort of stuff as well, and how I'm fitting it all in. What I thought I could quickly do first though is show you what my training is looking like this week. So hopefully if I'm tech savvy enough, I'll be able to put this up on the screen right now. But what you can see here is basically is a table that I have with all of my workouts in there. So all of the training that I plan to do. Like I said, I started this actual table in the end of January pretty much. So the 22nd of January was sort of week 1, and that's sort of when the actual prep for this event started. So what you can basically see here is you've got each week, and then you've got the days of the week and basically just what I'm doing on those days. If you look over to the far right column, what you'll see is I've got the total kilometers that I ran for that week. And what you can see is already that, there's like a slight increase week by week. So, 44 kilometers, 57, up to, almost 70 kilometers and 80 kilometers this week, and then a slight increase again this week. So this is progressively overloading and just increasing the overall volume. So, getting used to running longer and longer distances, but also doing it in a way that I'm not overtraining and I'm not, burning out or, going to injure myself or anything like that. And what these yellow highlighted boxes are essentially deload weeks. So these are weeks where I reduce the volume a little bit, let the body recover a little bit more, adapt to all the training that I've been doing, have a bit of a rest, and then I usually sort of do that every 4 weeks. So it's like 3 weeks of solid training, which usually sort of increases week by week, and then on that 4th week, I'll have a bit of a rest. Now, you definitely have to listen to your body with this. So like, you know, if I've only done 1 or 2 weeks of solid training and the body's just absolutely broken down and beaten up, I might take a deload that week or have a bit more of a rest. So, you know, you can plan your training, but you also have to listen to your body as well, which I'll show you, because what you can see here is, you know, I've got a bit of a rough plan for the next basically 10 weeks. So the event itself is, I think, around 10 weeks, it's 12 weeks away. So, you know, I've got a bit of a rough plan in place as to some workouts that I'm going to be doing and what they're going to look like. But those sort of change week by week as well. So, for example, this week, week 5 here, I just completed an 80-kilometer week. All right, so I already had the following week mapped out and planned out, but I've made some slight adjustments to that based off of how I went this week. And, you know, if I think I could make some changes to any of those workouts and whatnot as well. So the plan is to run an easy 10-kilometer on Monday. Tuesday is going to be a longer 20-kilometer run, maybe with some intervals thrown in there as well. Wednesday is a 5-kilometer easy run on the treadmill, so that'll be a bit of a recovery, and then I'll get a 3PC strength session in Wednesday night, hopefully. Now, this is the hard thing right now, is balancing the strength stuff. So I've gone from, you know, training strength 3 to 4 times a week and, you know, running 2 to 3 times a week. And now I'm starting to run every single day. So my training's definitely shifting. My focus is obviously shifting. I've got a specific goal I'm training for. So the strength training is definitely diminishing a little bit. I'm starting to lose quite a little bit of muscle mass as well. Obviously, I'm just not training as much as I was. So I'm still trying to keep it in there for sure. I'm still trying to keep some lower body strength work. Now, I'm not training my legs to the point where I'm absolutely trying to destroy them, but I'm trying to keep them strong, because obviously when you're running, you know, 90 to 100-kilometer weeks, that is a lot of work on the legs, a lot of load and volume on the legs, but the stronger your legs are, the more capable you're going to be able to do that, and it's going to help minimize injury. So this is really important, because I see a lot of people who get into running, they sort of stop the strength training or the especially the lower body weights, when it can actually be really, really beneficial to help keep that up. So I'm definitely not pushing with the same intensity in my weight sessions anymore. I'm still trying to go pretty hard in the upper body just to keep some strength there. But the lower body stuff, I'm just trying to be a bit smarter with that. So that's Wednesday. Thursday, probably aim for another 10 to 12K and maybe some intervals in there as well. And then Friday through to Sunday, that's going to be interesting. I'm going to see how I have to go, but maybe an easy run Friday morning followed by another strength session. Saturday, I'll be doing an easy-ish run, maybe 40 to 60 minutes. And then Sunday, I'm hoping to do a bit of an event simulation. So usually what I've been doing on the weekends is just one longer run. The longest that I've sort of been doing is 30Ks, maybe a couple like double runs, like one in the morning, one in the afternoon, that sort of thing. But this is the first time I'm going to try and aim to do a bit of a simulation of what the event's actually like, because it's really important to have some specificity in your training. So try and keep it as specific to what you're going to be doing as possible. For example, like, you know, if you're training to do a big trail run through the hills, you want to make sure you're doing lots of hill training in there. So yeah, I'm actually going to try. I've been doing lots of long runs, but I haven't done, you know, any runs where I actually do a 7K loop and then I have a defined rest period and then do the 7K loop again. So that'll be the first time I do that this week, which will be really, really interesting to see how that goes. That'll sort of tell me where I'm at. And then that will help me map the training for the next few weeks. So basically the last sort of 6 weeks, I did plan out the training and I've sort of stuck to it pretty well. But now I'm going to use this next week or two just to see how everything's gone, see where I'm at, and that's going to help me map out the rest of the training moving forwards. I will just say that vlogging itself is actually very difficult. It's very challenging. It's just very weird talking to a camera and you just sort of, yeah, your head goes blank. So apologies for these first couple videos that I put out, because they're probably going to be pretty crap. but hopefully week by week as I do it, I get a little bit better.
So Monday morning, just finished the first workout for the week. Easy 60-minute run, so can't really see that, but little 10k, zone 2, so just nice and easy. Mondays are usually quite an easy run because usually I'm doing big runs on either a Saturday or a Sunday. So this week I did weekend just gone, I did a big run on Saturday. So a bit of an easier run on Sunday, which means I could go a little bit further today. But in order to be running 90 to 100 Ks a week now, I'm gonna have to do some longer runs earlier in the week anyway. So yeah, obviously gonna have to get used to running on tired legs, but that's kind of the event which I'm doing, is essentially getting used to running with fatigue on the legs. So yeah, starting to increase that volume now. It's good to start early in the week as well and just get a run on the board, set yourself up, because otherwise if you miss a couple of workouts, you've got a lot of catching up to do. Tuesday morning training run done, little 21 Ks this morning. So yeah, that was tough. Didn't really want to do that. Had to get up early, had work last night as well, so a bit of a shorter sleep. So yeah, it's a bit tough getting those ones done, but as soon as you get moving, it's good. I did a little bit of a warm up and then a few interval efforts in that one as well. So like 3Ks on, 1K off, 2Ks on, 1K off, 1K on, 1K off, and sort of just tried to do that a little bit quicker each time. And then yeah, usually about the last 8Ks, just a little bit slower cruising home. So yeah, really good. Go home and fuel up now. Actually, I didn't have proper nutrition on that run, so got my little belt. Usually I've got some electrolytes and some gels, but we actually ran out. So yeah, I just had to do it with a little bit of water. I had one gel, but it was shocking. I don't know what brand it was, but it was absolutely trash, so I will not be using that again. But yeah, just a few little things there where it's like, oh, I didn't have the right nutrition, you know, I had work last night, I had to, you know, a bit of a shorter sleep, like a bunch of factors where I could have just been like, no, you know, let's just skip the run or just do something easier today. But, you know, got it done, and now that's going to make the rest of the week a lot easier. So yeah, it's always a fine line between choosing whether you do it or not, but, you know, always feel a lot better afterwards for getting it done. I've got work tonight as well, so it's going to be quite an active day. So I'm going to make sure I try and eat and drink plenty. And then I've got work tomorrow morning, and then 2 training sessions tomorrow as well. So lots of food and drink today and tomorrow. I'm going to try and probably aim for about 3,500 calories. So I haven't had anything yet, so got a bit of catching up to do. So yeah, that, and then plenty of electrolytes, plenty of protein and carbs today, and hopefully that'll have me feeling somewhat fresh. Legs are definitely a bit heavy as well. So a lot of running the last 2 weeks, a lot more to do this week still. I did it through linear trail as well, so lots of hills, lots of inclines and declines on that one, so the legs are definitely feeling it. So try and spend plenty of time foam rolling and stretching this week as well. So from a nutrition perspective, I'll probably talk about this a lot more in a separate video, but at the moment I'm sort of aiming to eat around 3,500 calories per day. So I just want to make sure that I'm eating enough at the moment to fuel my training and make sure that I'm actually not, you know, losing any weight now. I've started to dial in the nutrition a little bit more because the last few weeks I noticed that my weight was starting to slightly reduce, which meant I was probably not eating enough, you know, probably not even drinking enough as well, wasn't hydrating properly. So yeah, aiming for around 3,500 calories, and I'll just sort of track my weight and stuff and see how that goes. At this stage, I'm really just eating the same thing pretty much most days, so it makes it pretty easy. Thursday morning, or Thursday lunchtime, just finished a little interval run, so 10 kilometers, a little bit of a warm-up jog, and then 1 kilometer on, 500 off, 1 kilometer on, 500 off, and 800 on twice, 600 on twice, and then 400 on twice to finish. Saucy little session. So yeah, solid week so far. That puts me at around 47 Ks of running this week. And then I'll do a little easy run tomorrow, easy run on Saturday as well. And then Sunday I'm going to do the event simulation, so 6 laps of the sort of 7K loop around home and just test that out. So might wrap up the video, first one for this week here, two more easy runs for this week, and then the event simulation training session on Sunday, I might make that a separate video entirely, because yeah, there'll probably be like a few bits and bobs in there about what I'm trying nutrition wise, how fast I want to run each lap and that sort of stuff. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video.